Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to explore Sicilian defense a little bit more. I made a video about Sicilian Najdorf a couple of days ago. Today, we're going to look at the dragon, both regular and accelerated, and we will see what to do and what not to do when you have white pieces and when you have black pieces. And we are going to look at the game played by my student Krish. Krish played this a couple of days ago. Krish is rated around 1200 USCF, and as you can tell, pretty decent rating on leeches. So let's take a look. Krish played e4, c5, Sicilian defense. Krish plays knight f3, knight c6, one of the main moves. Black can also play d6 or e6 instead. Krish plays d4, that's the point behind knight f3. If black takes, we will take back, which is what happened, takes. Black attacks the pawn. The best way to defend is with the knight. And now black plays this move, which makes it the accelerated dragon. We have some options connected to taking the knight and pushing the pawn, which is quite decent. Krish decides to go for a different setup, which is a setup you usually see in a lot of Sicilians. And this is a setup which I want you to remember. The point is we are going to connect the queen and the bishop. At some point our bishop will go here to trade off for his bishop. We will castle long with the idea to be able to bring our rook to the right side of the board. And we will play h4, h5 to try to open up this rook. Something to keep in mind, this setup does not always work, which is why probably in this position we could have just been a little bit annoying by taking. Black doesn't really want to take this way because of the queen trade. And then black cannot castle. If it takes this way, this makes the knight's life extremely uncomfortable. But okay, Krish goes for the setup which he knows, and this will allow us to talk about this setup. Black plays bishop g7, and now the thing is, against the regular dragon, which I will show you in a second, Krish's setup will work really well. But it doesn't work here, and you'll see why. Krish plays f3. The point of f3, he's stopping knight g4, because if in this position, if we play queen g2, knight g4 is annoying. This knight wants to trade for this bishop. So f3 stops the knight from coming. It prepares g4 maybe to continue the pawn storm. Black castles, and now Krish needs to be very careful because he just goes for the setup and black allows the setup, but he should do something else here. He plays queen d2. Queen d2 does not work especially here against the accelerated dragon because black has time to break with d5. This is important. Let me show you another position so that you can do compare and contrast. I will show you regular dragon so that you can see the difference. So the regular dragon goes e4, c5, knight 3, d6, d4 takes, knight attacks pawn, knight defends pawn, g6 to bring out the bishop, bishop e3, going for the setup which you just saw, bishop g7 or knight c6, doesn't matter. Let's say bishop g7, pawn f3 to stop knight g4. Let's say castle or knight c6, it doesn't matter. Let's say castle, queen g2, knight c6, castle. White is already castled because black pawn moved. So now to get here, it takes two moves. If you compare this position to what Krish got, Krish is not castled yet. So black can play this in one move. In the regular dragon, it takes two moves. So here Krish should not be doing this, and black should be playing z5. What should Krish have done? Let's go back. Krish here should have played bishop c4 if he wants to go for the same positions. And this is something that we will explore in a different video. But here, let's get back to the game, because after queen c2, black did not know that he was supposed to play d5. And this is an important lesson I want you to remember. When you're playing against a regular dragon, you can do this setup. If you're playing against the accelerated dragon, you cannot do this setup. Now, black played d6. And this puts us back into the regular dragon. And Krish now will play the ideas which he knows. He's casting long and he's getting ready to do the things which he knows very well. Black takes the knight, which is fine. Krish takes back with the bishop. Bishop is sitting across from black's bishop, and now black will start doing weird things. Black needs to play bishop here, queen here, with pressure on the pawn, play rook c8, and an attack. Black plays a5, which is incredibly slow. Krish plays h4, which is a very smart move to try to open the king. We can just give up this pawn because we want to open our rook. Black played a4. Krish said enough of this. He played a3. Knight h5. This helps Krish because this bishop is an important defender of the king. Now he will die. Krish trades, takes. He plays g4 to force the knight away to open the position more. The knight jumps in, attacks the rook. Krish saves the rook, takes. The problem for black in this position, his king does not have any defenders. If he tries to play h5, Krish will just take and this line is going to open. Okay, black did this, which is even worse. Krish plays h5. He will now open the king side. f5 makes it even worse. Now everything will open. Krish takes. This line is now open. Black takes back. And Krish plays rook h1 with the idea to check and eventually get the king here and fork. And black conveniently makes it even easier. And Krish now forks. And okay, this game will continue for another 9 moves, but this is no longer relevant for our purposes. What do I want you to take away from this game? Number one, remember the setup which Krish did. Well, let's get back to this setup. Remember this setup. The queen and the bishop combine here. We castle long. The idea is we play h4, h5. We play bishop h6. We open up the h file. We can bring the second rook. That's why we castle long. We played f3 at some point to stop knight g4. And this is a very useful setup. Now, the second thing to remember, if you're playing the accelerated dragon, or if you're facing accelerated dragon as white, you should not be doing this. Because here black can play d5. If you ever play accelerated dragon, this is the move you should play in this position. Last thing, going back to the regular dragon, if you're black, this idea is way too slow. You need to try to do something like this. Okay, great attacking display by Krish. Taking advantage of black's lack of knowledge of the opening and launching a very quick attack. Krish, I'm excited to see how much you will improve in the upcoming year, and I would be happy to show many more of your victories. Everyone else, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. Please like, please subscribe, and I will be back soon. Bye.